Oh, I'm supposed to lead off?
Yes, but welcome everyone. We're here for a another session of N League, and I'm Steve, also known as Zell, and I'm joined by Mike. Would you like to introduce the teams that are playing?
Yeah, so first off in this game, we have Team Yakumen, headed by Quincy. Sowers is being represented by the captain, Vince. Dave is coming in strong for the Opie-Dopes, and we have Captain Claire rounding it out with the FalKANs. How are you feeling about this game tonight? Because I look at this lineup, and I'm just thinking Shark Week came about 6 months late.
Well, I see they've with some of the team captains playing and the stronger players, and everyone's strong and this league is strong in their own right. But I think it's going to be an exciting first game.
Absolutely. We last week Andres had a 130-point gain for the FalKANs, putting them in third, a very strong third position. So I think this game, Claire's going to try and either repeat that and try and overtake Vince. But meanwhile, they have Dave, who's just in sixth place. But like, if he could get those two first himself, as he did a couple of weeks ago, he can also just threaten the position to make it into the top cut. And it looks like we're getting into the game. Quincy's going to be our first dealer. And away we go. All right, Quincy has that north pair. Probably gonna keep that as his head. He's got a lot of terminals. Maybe could head this into a Tanta. Ooh, that 6-pin draw. Completing that 6, 7, 8 shape for him. Looks like it's going to be 8 So Dora. Vince also has 3 pairs in his hand. Ooh, pair of East for Dave is going to look very nice for him. And Claire also finishing off that Yanmen, the 7, 8, 9 Yanmen there. So all in all, I think all these teams have some pretty good shapes, but I don't think any of them are quite outstanding. Just oop, and Dave makes a call for the 9 so. Really going in for that Ton Nomi. Or I guess that's Ton Dora 1. Quincy picks up another 6-pin. Gonna probably keep that and be a little bit flexible around that 4, 4, 6 shape. And Dave is going to pick up a Ryanman in the Manzu, 6, 7 Ryanman. And that north in Claire's hand, kind of an awkward tile. I don't know if she could really play much off of that.
Quincy just got a 8 mon there, which filled in his Kanchan. So I've noticed a lot of players had some more than 2 or more pairs at the beginning of this hand. So I was wondering where they're going to go with it, but looks like it's going to be, for the most part, normal hands. I was wondering if we'd see a Toitsuba and like Chitoi, but that's kind of an awkward draw there.
Yeah, man. Quincy picks up that 7, 8, 9, that 9-pin for 7, 8, 9. He could kind of hedge into some pair shenanigans, but I don't think it really does all that much for him.
No, it's not doing. I don't know what he was thinking with the 4 there. I'm just curious. There's cutting a pair was probably fine, but the
Yeah,
where he had to
normally in
complete
that
the 7, 8, 9.
situation, you would cut the north pair because that also doesn't really do much for you, and you could also hedge your way into Tanyao if you need to.
Well, now we have Tempai. Just waiting 5-pin for Ipeiko, and he's going to go for it.
Immediate Ricci, there we go. So his Tempai on the 5-pin, waiting for that Ipeiko. Kind of an awkward wait, especially when Vince already has 2 of them in hand, one of them being the Akadora. So I think it's going to be hard for Quincy to bring this hand home. Looks like everyone's just trying to avoid. There's not a lot of information out from Quincy's discards.
Well, that is Tempai.
Vince not gonna chase. I think he was that Pinfu. Is he down with Pinfu right now? I didn't
He
see
had
him.
an Anko in hand, so I didn't get to see what the weight was fast enough. It went the screen changed, so I was waiting for it to come back around. But he's a Tempai, I'm pretty sure. It's 5-pin 3-mon Shabo. But he doesn't not comfortable with it, so he's just folding out with or at least
I think
cutting
that
part of
makes
his
sense. He
shape.
doesn't have a lot of value in his hand as is.
I think it's important to remember that his team is in the lead too, so
Very true.
I think in a different score situation we would have seen a Ricci there.
And there goes two of the East gone. Oh, Dave completes an Anko of Hatsu. Yeah, Vince absolutely does not want anything to do with this hand. This Ricci is very weird. It was a turn, what, 6 Ricci? Even though it's a bad weight, and he's holding all the marbles in his hand, like, it really is a good move to just fold and not lose any points for your team, especially when you're chasing after the Destroyers. Believe Destroyers are like another 100 points up. Or they, oh wait, no. Last week, Sowers took over, right?
Yeah,
Hang
Sours
on.
are leading right now.
Oh yeah, they've got 100 points on Sours, so they absolutely do not want to give up any points that they do not have to. And he picks up another Akadora. Claire, I think, also doesn't want to fight this hand. The only ones willing to fight right now are going to be Quincy, who is the Ricci, and Dave, who's sitting at 6.
It's interesting that Dave opened to go Atazuke for Ton with Adora and somehow accumulated an entire Anko of Hatsu that was not there earlier.
Look, if it works, it works. I'm not going to criticize him. Obviously, he read the wall better than I did.
Well, Vince is
Oh, and
holding
there's
all
the
of Quincy's weight.
last 5-pin. Quincy's weight is officially dead. As long as Vince doesn't toss out those 5-pins, and I don't see any reason why he should.
It's
Then
Tenpai, but Dave is not comfortable chasing down either.
oh, and there's a door in Dave's hand. Definitely does not want to cut that. 3, 4, 7. Yeah, it looks like at this point everyone's just gonna fold and let it go to Ryukoku.
I mean, the 258 Suji does not look great in Pinzu at all, but I'm kind of interested in as to why Vince dropped the red 5 so out of the hand instead of the
It passed early.
other one. Well, he had another 5. He has a normal 5 already. Like
Oh.
why not keep the red one longest? Because there's a world where he draws 7 or 8 pin and has his own Ipeiko and can download the Dora too, but neither here nor there. Only Quincy Tenpai, so gains 3,000 points. Ricci Stick stays in the middle.
Yep, Quincy maintains his dealership, which is kind of big. For new viewers of the show here, we are playing with Big Honba. So each one of those Honbas, instead of being 300 points, it is going to be 1,500 points. So that is 2,500 in the middle right there for whoever wins the next hand. And Quincy has a pretty good shape in Pinzu. He could even go for a Honitsu if he really wants to, although I think those shapes in Manzu are going to stick around for at least a little bit before he decides to commit.
Dave's got some pretty good shapes, and Tuso is the Dora, so we see 2 Dora in his hand. And wow, Claire's a very nice hand.
Sasuga Claire, always having good flow. And that completes an Anko of the Formon for Dave. Might be looking to, yeah, this is just going to be a Ricci Nomi hand for Dave. For Ricci Dora, rather.
He's got 2 Dora, but he needs to draw something around the other Dora, or it's going to be a pretty awkward wait.
Vince picking up more honors he doesn't need. Definitely gonna be a little frustrated about that one. All right, Dave just draws the east, has to basically pick between one of the Yakugai tiles, picks the east. Couldn't really deal into anyone else's hand, even if he tried. I don't think anyone has any paired Yakugai at this table.
Quincy just picked up a 9 there, giving him a backbone of a 789 Sanshoku, but he's got too many blocks in hand, so we'll need to get rid of something else if he wants to pursue that.
Everyone seems really attached to this Hatsu for some reason. It goes out just fine.
We're gonna see the do we see the Dora block for the Sanshoku, or are we gonna? Yeah, but the 4
Yep.
first, just in case he paired that Dora.
I don't know about that. I think I would have cut the West there, the Shah. It's not really doing anything for his hand. It's very hard to work into other people's hand if it gets called.
Yeah, he just loses an acceptance of the 4 and the 2. Both of those would have been tiles to Tenpai.
Yep. And Dora goes out and it passes. Vince does not call, and he picks up another Akadora. Although I don't think it's going to be all that useful in his hand right now. He doesn't really have any Pinzu to work it into.
Claire probably switching there because she sees the 2-pin as Genbutsu
Oh,
to 2
Quincy has to
people.
make a choice here. Either good weight or Sanshoku. And he just defers the...
They'll defer it.
for now. Oh, that's another Dora for Dave. He is now looking at a Mongon with 25 on the table.
And it's Tenpai for Claire. It's Tanya Pinpu with 1 Dora. She's in Arichi. Looking at
Yep.
5/8, so. And that 1 pin looks really bad with Claire's drop order, too. He's just going to push it. It is 1 chance because there's three 2 pins.
I believe that was Quincy with 1, Vince with 2, and Dave with 3 here. So there's 2 left in the wall, if I'm reading the discards correctly, for Claire Suman.
The 3 pin might be a bridge too far.
We'll see. Again, Quincy is at the bottom of the standings. He needs to make something happen this game, today, if he wants to move his team up.
That is a good point.
If he kept that 6-pin earlier, he could have cut the Shah here and still be able to go for that Sanshoku. But no, he is really just going to run for the...
And Dave really wants to push as well. Now you could go Sha, but then you're just getting Pinpu. Which he's probably okay with that. Stop this Ricci.
Yeah, he is a dealer, so he could keep building that Honba and just racking up points that way. So it's not the worst decision. But he also would have a hard time dealing in, considering that 1-8-0 is just locked up in his hand for that 7-8-9 Shunsu.
Meanwhile, Dave has 4 Dora and is trying to figure out a way to win. Moving tiles around. He's got like this Kutsuki Shanten going on right now, but one of the tiles is connected. So it's even a little bit wider than that. And that's Tenpai, but it's not winnable.
Yep, that makes sense. There's that 6-pin back in Quincy's hand.
Yeah, but now I can throw the 9s. He may end up with an 8-pin Ipeco Tenpai. Kind of a harkening back to the last hand.
All right, Quincy finally abandoning that Sanshoku.
That is Tenpai. That is a 4, 6, 7 mon weight. That's sumo, isn't it? I'm not going crazy here.
3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7.
Yeah.
No, that eight so is
3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. No, that was a sumo.
Oh,
Oops.
very interesting. I guess Vince also missed that.
I mean, somebody's free to tell me if I'm crazy, but that looked like he just sumoed and just threw it away.
I will defer to you because I've been drinking tonight. All right, Claire, only one declaring Tenpai, so that's going to be 3,000 to her, and Vince will be inheriting.
She's showing the Uradora there. Vince dropped the 8 so out of the hand after that and dealt in, right? No, it looks like it was just a Tenpai payment. I don't know. I thought Vince dealt in. Yeah, Vince dealt in there. So we've got the scores wrong on the screen.
Oh, sorry about that.
That was rather unfortunate there because I believe he just sumoed and
Yep,
didn't
that
catch
was Tompin Dora 2, so that's going to be Mongon for Claire. All right, back to the game. Looks like Vince filled in a penchant. Claire has an absolutely abysmal start unless she wants to go for Kokshi, which it looks like she might be going for. Dave's in a bit of a weird spot. Two pairs, one of them goes into a 1-2-3 sequence. Claire's still going for Kokshi. Oh my god. Definitely not what you want to see, but also if she gets it, it is going to be the first Yakuman of the league.
Sometimes that's just the only option.
I want to see it happen. Claire, get that Yakuman. Win that Yakuman, Queen. I believe in you.
Quincy's got the backbone of a 1-2-3 San Shogu. Vince has got probably the fastest hand here. I haven't really looked at Dave. Dave's is pretty fast too. I mean, the Ipeco 1-2-3 is a little bit of a bottleneck, but you can actually switch now off the Ipeco Just cut
I
one,
would
two.
personally definitely switch. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's
Yeah.
gonna do. Ipeco is just such an efficiency trap. You generally shouldn't take it
One of his
unless,
other Ryunmens accept Dora as well,
yeah.
so you can get your value back some other way into some of a better way.
Oh, that's another terminal for Claire.
It's just another second pair though, so it doesn't really move it forward.
It doesn't move it forward, but if she ever wants to abandon it, she could always go for Honoralto Chanta thing.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely a good idea to keep it. And if anything, it's just probably safe later. There's a third pair.
There's a third pair. I forget. Was there tune in her hand? Because I am seeing 3 tunes occupied in other people's hands right
I
now.
think she had a tune. We'll see it when it goes back around, but she's also got enough pairs now she could consider calling Pon for a toy. There's Dora. That's Tenpai. Yes, that's Tenpai.
That is Tenpai on
5-8
the
mon.
5-8 mon. That would be Pinfu Dora there.
No,
Who's
she does not have tune, so yeah. I bet Dave was very happy to see that Dora to Tenpai rather than the 9.
Ooh, so close with that 4-mon draw. Couldn't quite get that.
Could have taken the Shabo when he Patsusumo'd, but why? Take the better way, of course. And just forget about your backfires. Keep going forward.
Five so looking a little bit cursed into this Ricci. Just gonna cut the tune pair. Be safe. Again, not wanting to lose any points. They don't have to. And there is yet another terminal pair. At this point,
we're gonna
Claire's
see
just
just a
happy to
sad. We're just gonna see a sad chi toy with an 8-mon pair being, or 8 so pair being the only thing that ruins it. That is Tenpai. No, that's not Tenpai. That was a 9, not a 6. Sorry.
Yep. I guess Claire's just really happy to have so much relatively safe tiles at this point. Yep, Claire is now just out of this hand. Does not want to deal in to Dave's hand and possibly lose the top cut.
She just won a Mangan, so taking a step back is okay. I mean, especially with such a bad starting hand. She probably wasn't expecting to win the hand from the beginning.
Yeah, but you got to believe. You don't get Kokshi for playing smart. You get Kokshi for believing. There's another one of those 5-mons that Dave wants. And I'm only seeing, I believe, 1 in the discard. So that should theoretically leave 5 in the wall for Dave, but he's just not drawing any. And it looks like this is also just going to go to Ryukoku. Unless Quincy just happens to deal in right here.
And the West was just cut. It's safe. You can see it right across the table. He's probably just.
And
that was like probably an unnecessary level of risk, but because the West was literally just cut.
And he is breaking up a block for himself. Very, very odd choice. And Vince is also just gonna call it.
Trying to ship the high
I think
tay. Dave has the high tay, yeah.
High tay, yes. Okay, that makes sense.
In a no call situation, when South reaches, they have the high take. Well, if South doesn't reach, they have a high take. If nobody calls, South draws the high take.
Yep, so that's 3,000 points for Dave, and he will be inheriting one of those home. Reaches 6 stays on the table, so that's once again 2,500 points for the next person that could win. Dave, this looks like another possible Chanta hand if he wants to push that. If you could get something on the lower end of Manzu, I believe that's also 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku.
Quickly noticed that Claire had a pair of the South, and that's her seat this time around, so she can go fast and get the Honba and the stick if the hand cooperates.
Yep, and that is something that would be very Claire. Claire loves Honba, especially when the Honba is big.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, excellent fill on that Kanchan.
Everyone's filling in their weird shapes here. That 9 sells the door this round, so he's going to hang on to that.
There's a nice 3-mon draw if Dave wants to possibly open up for this Chanta, but it's going to be relatively valueless. The value is going to be coming from the fact that he's dealer and can build up that Honba again. But I think he's going to want a little bit more. The 6-0 is good for developing that Manzu shape, but she's just going to cut it. I think she really wants that non-Nomi hand.
That's 10
Oh,
pie.
that's 10 pie for Quincy on the 4-6 or 4-7.
So, yeah. Now, Claire's hand was such, if I read it correctly before it went away, that she can call for a 5-6-7 Sanchoku herself and not have to worry about getting the South if it doesn't come. Yes. Yeah. But it might be a little bit too slow to push now, depending on what's got to come out.
Yeah, given her position, because there is also...
there we go. Still the other Kanchan. I think we're gonna see if Claire gets this 10 pie. She's I think she's just gonna push it.
Absolutely. We've actually run a few practice games, and the way she describes her position, if she plays this week, which obviously she is that she is just desperate for points. She really wants to build up that buffer between our team and the next team, just so to solidify our position as in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is she has her own seat win, so she won't get Pinfu, but she's got shots at Sanchoku, and no, she's gonna throw away the South. Okay.
Ooh, and she would have had it too. That would have been Tenpai, I believe.
Yes, she could pull in and then cut the 6 so, but it probably looks terrible against the Ricci, which is probably the second thoughts here. Yeah, it does look pretty terrible against the Ricci.
Going around the horn again, it's 4 in Claire's hand. I believe 1 in Vince's. So that leaves 3 tiles for Dave to zoom on.
With that 7-pin cut, it looks like Claire is going to be out of this hand because she just broke up a already established Shunsu in the hand, and then gets a pair back. This is
again,
it's kind of wall kind of taunting her
choice,
a little bit.
given that she's in first place with Oka. That's a huge 50-point bonus. Not even taking into account what her ending score would be. So folding here makes sense. Now she has to find the tile that's going to be safe, given that I believe she does not have any Gembutsu in her hand anymore.
Looks like she had the. No, she doesn't. Yeah, she didn't really have any.
All right, and I miscounted. That's 2 in Vince's hand, which means there's 2 tiles left for Quincy. And I think at this point, everyone is folding. I don't think anyone wants to win this hand against an Oyarichi. So,
Well, Quincy's not dealer, so it's not an Oyarichi.
oh, Quincy's right. I'm reading this wrong. But still, it would be Ricci, Tsumo,
Pinhu,
Pinfu.
Dora one, I believe. There's an Akadora. I'm not exactly sure. I've lost track of it. Yeah, there is, of course, there's an Akadora.
Okay, so that would only be 1326, and any Ura would bring it up to Mongon. So these are all reasonable folds. Not that they know what Quincy has in hand, right?
Quincy is 2. Yeah, Quincy, yeah, is Dora 1.
Oh, and Vince finally finding that Gambutsu that Claire cut earlier. Two draws left for everyone, and I think at this point everyone should theoretically have enough Gembutsu to bring this to the Ryukoku. So unless Quincy assumes one of the 2 tiles left available to him, I think he's just gonna get 3,000 points, and Claire will inherit 2 big Honba. Oh, there's 1 tile left because Claire drew another one of the Forsos. That pay should look relatively safe, but I think that 7 mon was cut earlier, so that's 100% safe. And there we have it. Quincy is the only one Tempai.
Now we've got a 5,000 points in the middle for this hand.
That is a scary proposition, and I do not
That is
envy.
a pretty good Pinfu start for Claire, actually. Got to feel that actually filling that Kanchan would make it Tenpai. No, not. Never mind. I'm misreading 1 tile.
I was about to say, yeah, she's a bit of ways for that. Quincy immediately calling the. He wants this Honba. He needs points.
Vince's hand's pretty good too. Everyone's got some developed shapes already, and I think it's a matter of who draws what. That's what it always is, but I think this hand even more so.
Quincy picking up another Yakuhai, although other shapes are a bit less developed. He has the head, but filling in that penchant and then finding another group is going to be a little bit difficult. But I think 2 calls this quickly is definitely going to intimidate all the other players.
I was going to intimidate Claire. That was an amazing draw. She's Ishan 10 now for a Pinhu.
Dave here, sitting on 2 Yakuhai floaters. That 4-mon, I guess, fills in ahead, so yeah, he's gonna get rid of the lone Sozu floater. I think I would have gone for Tom there just because I think the Sozu could develop a little bit more.
Claire's not Ishan 10. Claire's 2 Shanten, so she's still got 3 round minutes left. This is an Itsu backbone that's completed.
Vince also sitting on his own wind as a floater. Really wants to pair that up just to get the Honba in the middle, but tiles just ain't coming. And
Yes.
here goes
And
Quincy.
we have a case of 3 calls, not tenpai.
This
3 calls,
is,
no 10.
I really want to see him go Hadakatangi. Call the 6-0, please. Have a little
He's
fun
gonna
with
have problems getting Sozu right now though, because if Claire is brave enough to cut the Souths into Quincy, this makes it more
Oh,
of a
there she goes.
more of a chance for Pinhu and Initsu as well. She's probably thinking, you know what, I just want to Ricci and win this hand.
Yeah, but I mean,
Dave is almost there as well. Everyone's caught up. Oh, there we go. Tenpai.
What a good draw. 4-6
3-6
or a 3-6 wait for Quincy for a Mangan. Honitsu Yaku Yaku.
Just one Yaku. He's not North City Cell Seat.
Oh, yes. Okay, David's north. Right.
Now this is an interesting draw because I mean, I think standard is 7, Anko headless. Kind of felt good to cut that Sozu into Quincy's hand looking like that, but she did it. So
Claire wants Honba. I don't know how to explain this to you. Claire wants Honba.
yeah. Now that's Tenpai. Can actually Dama this for Mangan. It's Ipeiko Dora 3. No, you have to cut a Dora. I'm sorry. I'm seeing one pin on screen. I'm thinking one pin is the Dora indicator. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're cutting Dora for Tenpai, you might as well reach it and get that Han back.
This is Ipeiko Dora 2. Could have Dama that, but since Quincy only has a 4-tile hand, I can understand wanting to apply pressure.
This 7-mon does look pretty suspicious. Nothing around that upper Manzu has been cut other than the 9-mon from Claire. And it looks like he's tonking, I believe, on the 7-mon now.
Would have sumoed on the 5. That is still not yet Tenpai. Cutting the 9-mon from it makes a Tanyao shift possible. We have so many 2-3 in this hand. It's kind of a challenge. Okay, she went for straight up Genbutsu there.
And Vince sumos.
West
getting Sha Dora 2. So that's 3,900 plus 3,000. Oh my god, no, that's 1,000,
it's
2,000.
It's 2,000, 3,000, right?
Plus 1,000 each, yes. So that's 2,000, 3,000. Claire maintains first. However, Vince now to the third position with Dave last in what is now a very, very close game. Very uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Just got some good shapes to start with. The Dora looks like it's 4-mon, I think. Yes.
4-mon, yes. Quincy had that Anko of 6-0. We have 2 pairs coming out for Vince. Oh, where was this hand last time? You could have had the double East, Claire. Come on, what are you doing? Draw better tiles. It's a nice Yonkai shape for Vince. Going to be able to keep his hand a little bit flexible there. Dave's still trying to fill in his shapes. Claire gets an Anko of East. One round too late, unfortunately.
It's still an Anko, so this is closer to Tenpai. Once again, it's not a good Anko headless shape, but we are back to Anko headless for Claire.
Yep, Quincy finishes that Anko of the Hatsu, I believe. Or maybe it was. Oh, he's okay. He's got a pair. Going to go potentially Otozuke on this hand. He really just wants these points. And there's the Hatsu drop. Quincy
Just
now
gonna take the
confirmed
Tenpai, yep.
Hatsu.
Just taking the 4/7 pin Tenpai. The red 5 probably is a little painful to throw, but
Dave finishes off that Kanchan 789. So and that's. Oh wait, that's not Tenpai. Never mind.
this is just awkward.
Yeah,
It's a bunch of good blocks, but not coming together.
doesn't matter. Quincy Tsumo's Hatsu Nomi. That's going to be 500 all. 4, 6.
That's
10.
gonna be
Oh, that's
that's gonna be 700
700
all.
all. And starts off the next hand pretty strong with that Hatsu pair. Gonna be able to make a good quick hand with that, build up another Honba. Also, don't pair. Oh, this could be a bit of a disaster. And I believe that is 8 Dora. So
Which
he
he
has
just
2
connected.
Dora.
He has 2 usable Dora and a Yakuhai pair, so that's a speedy speed 3 Han dealer.
Claire also with a fairly decent hand. I don't think it's nearly as fast as Quincy's is going to be, but she could definitely fight.
Vince's hand is pretty good too. All players have a fairly good hand here. It's just a matter of who gets what and where the Haku is for Quincy.
Ooh, backfire on the cut there. Quincy can no longer call Chun here. It can still serve as a decent pair to build up that Fu, if necessary.
It's really always an annoying situation where you draw that. You draw the you pair up a Yakuhai is second after it's been cut.
Dave picks up a 4th pair, so possible shift into Chitoi there.
Everyone is drawing a lot of pairs at this table. That's 4 pairs for Quincy.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, Quincy could. I mean, anyone could get Chitoi at any time, but I think Quincy really just wants that Hatsudora 2 or Hakudora 2.
Yeah, those are both still on the wall. We haven't seen them come out yet.
And there's a pair for Claire. Toitsuba Gaming here at N League this week, apparently. Oh my god.
Shosangen dreaming? No.
Oh,
surely
no,
not.
he gives it up. Oh my god, Quincy, please, just have fun.
Knowing that it can only ever be Shosangen at a maximum, that kind of hurts a little bit.
Yeah, but I'd still do it just to flex. Why not?
Okay, Dave is getting rid of the Dora. That 3, all the rest of the shapes are too good.
All right, player rejecting Chitoy. Oh
Oh
my
no.
god! Oh my god! This is why you do. Oh my god, Quincy, please.
Oh dear.
Yet another pair for Claire. Could have kept that one so, but yeah, I think the other shapes are a bit too good. If she draws that 7 mon, then she's well on her way to Pinfu. And Quincy now displaying just how much he's not going to go Shosongen, cutting another dragon. Three. All right, I believe that is Ishan 10 for Dave. Potential Ipeko. And Quincy doesn't even have to go on Azuki. He's just going to complete the Hatsuonko by himself. Doesn't even need the other players. 1 4 so.
Terribly late in the wall though on that.
I mean, he'll take it. There's
Yeah, of
still
course.
no Hatsu or Haku left or showing anywhere in the pond.
That is Tenpai on 7 mon. Richidora 1. Well, she's just deciding whether to reach or not, because we know the Hatsu is safe.
And she's just going to Dama. Oh, Vince. Okay, if he cuts this, I think Quincy has to con and go for the Rinchan, but he stays disciplined. Not gonna con, not gonna reveal any information that might reveal that he is Tenpai right now. He really wants to get that 1 so 4 so out as quickly as possible.
Claire sees the 7 mon come out, so she's only got 2 tiles left, maybe 1. I haven't really looked at the board. 2 have already come out. Her 7 mon is now actually a hell weight.
I believe this late with 3 calls out from Quincy, you basically have to assume that he's Tenpai. I think at this point nobody is going to be pushing that hard unless they can get a more valuable hand than actually holding right now.
Yeah, I understand the caution here for sure.
Sorry, that was 2 calls out from Quincy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's Tenpai also with a Suanko upgrade, but he's just gonna take it.
And he's just gonna throw it. All right, Ricci on
3/6 pin. Oh,
and there it is, the Ipatsu. Ricci Patstora
Ipatsu Tanyao Dora.
Door and
Dora
he hit
2.
Dora. That is going to be
Hanuman there.
Hanuman. Plus Big Honba, so that's 13-5 for Quincy, or for Dave, coming out of Quincy's pockets. Not a very good look for the Yakumen. But absolutely great for if you're an Opie Dopes fan. If you're a fan of the dogs, that's what you want to see right now. They take first place, and Yakuman unfortunately take last. Looking around the table, kind of awkward hands all around. I think Claire had. Oh no. Quincy has the best hand right now, but it's not by a very wide margin.
Well, Dave is like, I have 3 Dora. I want to use them.
What do you even go for this? If you're Claire right now,
I'm gonna let it circle back around so I get a better look. I like Vince's hand the best, I think. That's a great fill. What do you go for if you're Claire? Cheetoy.
Cheetoy, yeah.
With that draw, you go for Cheetoy.
Vince picking up another head, cuts the tune.
I believe Dave is Ishan Town as well with Dora 3.
I think here I would cut the 4 so. But what might I? Yeah, I guess it leaves you a little bit headless if you draw the 6 pin there.
I'm keeping the 5. It leaves room for the red 5 pin too. I was gonna say something about Claire dropping south and Cheetoy, and she would be in Tempai right now if she kept it. But I'm an occultist, and I will not comment further on dropping south.
Yeah, you are never known for dropping south here.
Quincy picking up an additional Dora. Quincy's basically Kutsuki Ishanten here.
Yeah, I think you dropped the 6 mon here. It's the least served tile in your hand. I guess 3 pin also makes sense.
3 pin's the Dora, but 3 pin's the hardest of the extra tiles to use, but it's the Dora, so I think he's eyeballing the 5 so draw to Sun Menchan. Wait. That is Tenpai. 4/7 Mon for Ichidora 3.
And that is another Ricci for 1/4 pin
Yep.
from Quincy. Surprised he didn't open there. Usually, if you want to chase, you just want to make that as valuable as possible. But if he has 2 Dora, then I guess he has all the value that he needs, and he doesn't want to give up any information that. Oh wait, no, he's not dealer anymore. Never mind. You should have opened Quincy.
Well, it's Mangan on the cheap out. And it's Ricci, Pinpu, Ipeiko, Dora 2. It's going to be Mangan on either out, but the Ura threshold to get to Hanemon's better on the one pin here. And if you sumo
It doesn't matter. He's just gonna sumo, so he doesn't even need that. Oh, that he hits 2 Ura. Oh wait, no, that's not.
No, he did. The Haku is the Ura. That was the sumo tile.
Right.
So Ricci, Sumo, Pinpu, Ipeiko, 2 Dora is the Hanemon already.
And just like that, the tables have actually shifted. That Hanuman gave Quincy 2nd place. Now, Dave still maintains first, but it's much less comfortable first than he was in just a hand ago. Player with all 3 dragons in his hand, pair of Haku, could potentially go for one of the Sangens if she really wants to.
This is one of those things where you really need to draw a pair of another one first to get the dollar signs.
No. Believe, just trust. She'll get it. First Yakuman of N League. Dai Sangen. You heard it here first.
Have there been none in other seasons prior to this?
No, there has never been a Yakuman in N League.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
We have been, I believe, Suanko Tenpai a couple of times, but that's a good fill. Okay, Claire's not believing. Never mind.
Claire sees that first place is 5,000 points away, and it's South 3.
Yeah, but just think, if you get Yakuman, that's guaranteed first place.
Yes, most likely.
Honestly, even disregarding that, Claire's hand is not the worst at the table. Probably my favorite looking around. Vince has this awkward penchant if he wants to go for Ipeiko, which it looks like he kind of does. Dave's is also pretty good, but Claire also fills in the pair for the Nopaton weight there.
Yeah, Claire basically has 3 pairs to Tenpai, so make an Anko of any of them. You have a Shabo of the remainder. Dave just keeps getting really good draws here. But he probably had the slowest hand to begin with, but it's definitely caught up.
Quincy now looking like he could go for Itsu. Claire calls the Haku cut.
Yeah, it's a 7 so 6 mon Shabo Tenpai. That is
also
Tenpai.
Tenpai on 4/7 mon.
4 mon is the Dora here, so
definitely going to be a bit hard considering one of the weights is on Dora, but Claire's also Tenpai, so we might see it come out.
And Claire's going to immediately take a step back. Three-pin draw was really good for getting back into Tenpai because you made a Yonranke shape, so that will help. She could even call if the right tiles come out. That is that's still not Tenpai. That's Sanmen. It's just a lot.
It's very good, but
it's just quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that is still not back in Tenpai, but Claire does pick up a Dora, so if she can incorporate that one into the hand, she might go start pushing again.
Yeah, it looks like Claire is just folding out at this point.
She is still Ishanten technically, but it's going to be a challenge. That Haku is going to have to be pushed unless she wants to wait on it. This worked out very interestingly for Dave. The more efficient cut a few turns ago would have been going for the 2 mon originally, but he actually paired it up and was able to maintain a much more comfortable safety with the 2 Sanmenchans. Oh, and that deal's in. Claire actually got back into Tenpai, cut the Haku, and it'll be oh, she had a Haku. I'm sorry, she had a Haku, didn't con it. I forgot she had pawned earlier.
Yeah, that's Haku Dora 2, so 39 her way, unless I'm miscounting Fu again.
No, that will just be Haku Dora 2 for 39.
And this is a pretty good hand for Claire's dealership. She has that Aka in her Shunsu already. Potential upgrade to Sanmen if she draws that 3-so.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Oh, this is an excellent hand.
It is all last, and Claire is 100 points out of first with that win, so very close. Dora's Sanzo.
I mean, yeah, Vince's hand is also really good in a vacuum. Claire's hand is kind of insane right now. That is Tenpai. If she wants to take
it's just you can upgrade it so easily. I don't think you Ricci this because it's just yeah.
Yeah. So
There's
Claire,
so many upgrades.
technically waiting on Tumon.
Is it Tumon or Tuso? I can't remember which one it
It
was.
might have been Tuso. I didn't take into account the suit.
It was Tuso Tanki. Now this is actually round men now, so very good. The 3-so, 6-so.
Quincy calling, not gonna get that Ipatsu anymore, but still, turn 3, Pinfu, Dora.
And waiting on the Dora as well. So 3-so is the Dora.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't Pinfu. It was Anko of 9 mana.
Yeah, of course, Riichi Dora 1, but with a you sumo the Dora here, Mangan out. Ouch.
Like, yeah, it's kind of a bad wait because it's one of the more inner, and it's waiting on Dora or Suji, so it's unlikely that anyone's. Oh, she
There
just
she
sued
goes.
him. Why do I even bother talking? She just sued
Sumo,
him.
and there's the 3 is underneath, so it's
She
Riichi
gets it.
Sumo,
Then she
Dora,
hits
or
Claire. Who am I
Riichi
talking
Sumo,
about?
Aka,
Claire.
or
This is
4,000
Claire I'm
all.
talking about.
Great hand. Good weight there on not just reaching the first 10 by the comes along. It was so upgradable. That wasn't honestly,
Yeah.
that wasn't even an upgrade I would be that happy with, precisely from what you said. It was waiting on the Dora, it's waiting around it, and just sumo it anyway. It's all great.
Yeah, looks like I believe 3 Mon Dora here, which is once held in Claire's hand, very usable for that 1/3 Kanchan.
Claire's Pinzu are also complete shapes of 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. So it's very far along already. Vince picks up South. That's I see Honitsu with Dora 2 in South here for a Handemon, but see how it goes. No, that's too good of a fill to Dora 2. Now it's not Honitsu anymore. Oh,
Another fill for Dave as well.
everybody fill in your kanchans. This makes me happy that I'm seeing it and while commentating and
Just
not
that
while I'm
happens
playing
to
with
me
people
more
doing
often.
this. Yeah, precisely.
All right, potential Sanman upgrade for Dave. And we'll see if Pinchan is as upgradable as Kanchan, apparently. That's another good fill for Dave, filling in that Ranmen. Gonna cut out one of his floaters.
He's got an upgrade now. But she has that 1/3, so Kanchan in hand, and the 2 is cut 3 times, so it's not gonna feel good. 4 times. Okay, she's got a dead Who has 1/3? Claire doesn't have 1/3. I'm blind.
That's technically another Kanchan fill, and I think okay, Quincy's just gonna take it. I think I would have kept that one pin as a head.
Okay, nobody actually has a 1/3 so in their hand, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Just ignore me.
I believe that's confusing Claire's 1/3 Mon.
Yes, you are correct. Okay, there you go. We figured out my problem. And the way I'm commentating, you would have wondered if I hit my head this morning instead.
Look, it's not like commentating on Tenho where you could see everyone's hand all at once. Eventually, we'll unlock that technology, but right now, we
Don't know what that is, Dave. I can't tell.
oh,
It's
it's
3.
Dora.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice fill for Dave there. And that's Dora for Quincy. Everyone's got Dora, apparently. Also, very nice fill for that Penchan. Does not have to wait on that single wait. That's very hard to upgrade.
Okay, Dave took the full shapes upgrade, not grading the Itsu at all. but the one is cut more than once. So.
All right, and Quincy calls Ricci on the con 8-pin. Bit of a desperation
That's 10
play. I
pie.
believe that's Ricci door 1, which does not necessarily put him into third place.
I believe Dave is 360. 10 pie, and it's Pinfu. Will he roam that? Yes, he will. Taking Pinfu Dora 3, so it's a Mangandama.
All right, and that confirms his second place in this game. So Claire takes first at 42-7. Going to be a very cool 62 points for her. And as bad as it looks for Quincy, that's still only third place. And very good for any sours.
So the table's resetting their scores.
Yeah.
It was a bit of an up and down game. Claire took that early win and was in the lead most of the game. Lost it, was in third for a while there, and then just all last dealer Mangan Sumo.
Yep. Very fast game too. I believe we only had 1 or 2 Renshans, entire Hanchan. So yeah, we will be back for table 2 in as long as it takes for table 2 to finish up and to finish up their break. So stay tuned for more Mahjong and enjoy the
All right, everyone, if you're still with us, looks like we're back and ready to start round 2 with table 2. We have Pio, Nancy, Julian, and Christian on this game.
Yep, back in the first match, it looks like Nancy won with a relatively narrow, followed by Julian and Christian. That does change up the standings slightly. The margin between the Triads and the Dora Neko are very, very thin. Even like not considering how big a first place can be. So this is going to definitely be a fight for the top cut here.
Oh yeah, point 4 is nothing.
Relatively narrow. All right, looks like Pio's gonna start off as our first dealer. Is it just me, or are you also just seeing the overlay in your?
I am seeing a very weird overlay at the moment.
All
Yes.
right, I have no idea if this is being caught up on the YouTube stream. I imagine it is because we're just being fed that directly, but little behind the scenes action for you guys.
Yes, I have it open, and it looks like that on the YouTube stream as well. So bear with us a minute. We're going to fix this. So is there any superstition when you're down in the studio there about it being cold, being good or bad for your flow?
I generally don't care. The only thing that I care about is that there's a bottle of Evan Williams in Claire's fridge, and when I had a shot of that, that's when I took. So every time I play, I make sure to take a swig of Evan.
Okay. I just see it looks like Nancy is in the screen here, and I think she has a blanket.
Oh my
So
god!
she's
Yeah,
clearly cold.
she's very cold. She's also doesn't seem to be wearing any kind of jacket or sweater. Um,
All right, it looks like we are off. The players have begun. We got the scores in the bottom. I think everything else will populate shortly. A lot of
yep,
Sozu for Nancy, and the rest of the blocks look pretty good.
yep. 6-mon Dora for us. Looks like Pio's holding one of those Dora. Nancy's got another. Everyone has relatively decent blocks, but I don't think anyone has any outstanding hand to speak of.
Julian has a lot of weird, like, outer blocks. The hand definitely looks like a Chanta, but trying to force Chanta always ends up being really cheap. Get another chance to look at it here. And that 1-2-2-2-3 is not very helpful either.
Oh, yeah.
It's just this hand is like, yeah,
Definitely,
there's lots of blocks here, but I don't like it. So I
yeah,
would not
like
be happy with
it's
this hand.
clearly callable. You could make it fast if you really want to, but I don't know if you. Then you're just stuck with two of those penchants. Steel pairs up the tune here. It's already once cut, and I think it's also in Julian's hand, if I recall correctly. So we might see that come out.
Now, Julian's got Hatsu, so no. But Julian definitely sees that two pair is getting in the way and just cuts it.
All right, I guess I saw it earlier in Nancy's hand here and didn't realize she already cut it. That's
It's
that's kind of
Shanten, but
awkward.
yeah. See Shanten, but you'd have to cut something other than that to take it. Oh, that's a good fill for this potential Chanta.
Yeah, seems like Julian's is the only hand that's moving, and it's not even that great of a hand. Nancy could get that EP Dama on that. Christian Hand is also moving.
Pio's given up on Shun.
And now Julian could potentially go for 1-2-3 Sanshoku. It's going to be a bit tough given that he is now only drawing that Tuso, but it's honestly better than his Chantanomi. Potentially, I don't even want to say
Excellent
working
draw for
towards.
Pio. Fills in a Kanchan. Nancy
Yep,
gets
Nancy
another
gets
pair.
another Dora.
Or another Dora, and she's got a callable Tanya Dora too. Christian picks up a Dora.
That I believe is Ishanten for him. Kind of a hard wait if he doesn't get that, if he doesn't fill in that 5 mod, but we've seen weirder things happen this week already.
Julian missing out on the Ipeko Chanta there with that. That is
Not
still
quite
not Tenpai. Can cut the souths and trade the pairs. Or cut 9 mod or something. Oh, just gonna swap the 5s.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I would have hedged more because if you cut the souths, that also hedges more towards Tanyao if you could get another Dora.
I don't think you can really keep that with the way this
Can't
game
really,
is going.
yeah. You kind of got to cut it now before it becomes even more dangerous later. Otherwise, yep, and that's
Yeah, I think you either cut the south or you cut 9 mon. And not the extra 5. Now Nancy can call, but it will be a Dora Shabo.
and
There's a lot left because she's using it's not very not one you're thrilled about because you only have 1-4 left because you've already used one in the Chi. And I think the Doras are all held. I'm not 100% sure. See Christian with one. I believe Pio has the other. Now, see, this is still not 10 pi because of the 5 so drop.
yeah, and you can if you want to advance your hand, you do have to cut that Akka. Unless you no, because then you don't really have a pair. So yeah, you're gonna be kind of forcing your pair to either be the 3 mon, and you'd have to cut 3-4 mon, or now I believe Pio can cut the 5 mon here and be perfect Ishan 10.
Yeah, 5 mon's the best cut for efficiency, but it doesn't look the best safety wise, probably.
Right. And there's another Dora for Nancy, but she has to cut it if she wants to maintain.
She would be free 10 if she changed the weight. It'd be the same value, but she already got a 4 mon earlier. This is 10 pi, but it's Richi Nomi.
And Julian is going to take it. I think I would have gone for the 6 so there, the Suji trap.
Maybe Aka Greed. Aka Greed has people do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. There's also, I believe, 2 3-so cut if I'm looking at the stream correctly.
You are right. Yeah, I see one in Nancy's pond and one in front of Christian.
And Nancy gets her 4-pin. That is going to be Tanya Dora 2 for 3,900. And she becomes dealer now. bit of an awkward hand. She has these 7-8 on men, but it's a lot of terminals, a lot of floating tiles. Julian's is a little better, I guess.
Christian's hand is pretty nice. The Dora being west is complicated and going to be hard for a lot of people to use.
Yep, not really a fan of anyone's hand, but yeah, I think Christian's is the best at the moment. But we've
Julian's
seen
is fast. I just don't see where the value is going to come from. Well, that's an amazing fill for PO.
Nancy also filling in one of her Conchons. Julian making a Yonman with floating 6-mon. But that Tolton is now kind of an awkward place. Knocking over a couple tiles. No big deal. I don't think that revealed anything anyway.
No. I wish we could all be like PO and draw Akka into our Conchons.
One day.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good draw for Nancy. That forms a Yonman with that floating 2-mon.
Nancy just has no head at the moment.
I believe Christian could have made 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku if he kept that 1-mon, but now it's tossed out. It's gonna be kind of hard to get. It's a good upgrade.
And that's what he wants. He wants that anyway. That's better. PO is Ishanten, I think. Nancy's Ishanten, but desperately needs to pair up the 2 or the 4 pin. So she's not waiting on a Tonki.
Just gonna pick up more floaters.
We got
Pretty decent drop
Ishanten for Julian.
Julian.
PO is still not Ishanten. I misread something earlier. That's a nice upgrade.
Onman for Nancy. I should sort the hand a little bit more, but still headless. That's also Sonman for Christian. Oh wait, no,
that's completed.
That's a complete sequence.
Can be perfect Ishanten by cutting the 2.
And there he goes.
PO is Ishanten as well. Now, I think, if I'm reading it correctly.
Nancy's hand sort of in stasis right now. Not really advancing, but not really drawing any dangerous tiles.
That's Tenpai. It's going to be Richi Pinfu Akka. If cutting the 5, it give you a 4-7. That's what we see. 4-7 so rather. Richi. That's a nice upgrade too. It's a matter of can you push this hand. The 2 pin does not look safe at all.
And he's just gonna push Gembutsu.
Nancy draws Suji to the Richi tile and pushes it.
And Christian Ipatsumos. That's Richi Ipatsumo Aka Ura. That is Mangan.
Pinfu as well. It's a Haneman. Richi Ipatsumo Pinfu Aka Ura.
Yep. 6 on. Haneman. Okay. Very nice pickup for Christian. That's going to put him in a fairly commanding lead, although it is still early. Anything can happen. As we move on to Julian's dealership. And that is
Not
a
bad.
lot of Sozu.
The Manzu and Pinzu shapes are there. The Manzu are just a Kanchan, basically.
I think the one mon here is going to be the standard play. There it
Mhm.
goes.
8 so is the Dora. We saw Julian have a floating 8 so. Christian has a floating 8 so. Pio has a usable 8 so. And Nancy's got some pretty good shapes and an Akadora to back it up.
And her shapes just continue to improve. Not a lot of value with just the Akadora, but definitely a very pushable hand. Everyone's just kind of trying to upgrade their shapes as much as possible, getting rid of any floating terminals and honors.
I haven't seen too many shape fills for anybody late in the last couple go-arounds. Pio picks up another pair. I think that's 4 pairs or maybe 3. And Nancy has dropped 2 Nons and 2 Hatsus consecutively, so she's got to not be too happy with her draws right now.
Julian finishes that sequence finally. Oh, and Christian pairs up the tune. We haven't seen a tune cut yet, so that is going to speed up his hand quite a bit.
It's one tune cut by Julian.
Oh, there it is. Still no fills coming out from anyone. At least nothing big. Although that's a nice upgrade for Julian.
I think Julian actually
Like-
is Ishan 10 is the only one who is.
Right, but he has to cut the door, which always feels bad this late into.
He's the dealer, though, so I think you just go. But Pio is almost there, so. Nancy's problem is it's Ryanmen, but if you draw into it, you just still don't have a head. Now, full efficiency is cutting the Dora. No.
Julian does not want to cut Dora. He is
Dora dreams.
Too much of the gambler to give up value like that.
That is functionally equivalent to the 3. So what do you think is more live? A lot of players just spinning their wheels. Pio Karagiri is the 6.
Well, and that gives Julian a Sunman. If he wants to cut that 2-pin. Pio gonna cut again.
Karagiri. Oh, Nancy draws another non. This is just who will get 10 pie first?
If anyone.
Yeah.
Seems
I
like
think Julian would have had 10 pie if he dropped the Dora. Christian, again, most efficient is dropping the Dora.
Yeah, also has to cut Dora, but again,
but it's so late now
that
it's so late now. You need a good reason. That is 10 pie. It is 6-9 Mon, and it will be Sanshoku on the 6 and Tanyo. How many 9s are cut? That's the question. 2 at least, in front of Nancy.
Nancy cuts the 4 pin or 4 so that's Ishanten. That's what she's gonna do. So she's not west, so that is also gonna be Pinfu if she fills in.
I don't know if there
Just
are
a
any
matter of
sixes left. That will
if
deal
she
in if
big
PO
enough.
takes it. PO does
He
not
does
take
not
that.
take it. He is gonna stay disciplined. He's going to wait for that 6-mon.
Hikaragiri reaches, and it's still 6-9. He was done with the Dama. It was a Hanemon on the 6, but only 3,900 on the 9. I'm not sure there's anything more than 1/6 left. Julian just drew the last 9. That's 10 pi, but
That's
it's
Senpai, but she
it
has
will
to cut
deal
the
in.
6-mon. She has to cut. Oh, this is very bad for Nancy. I think this late you just kind of have to fold. It's
She's going.
she deals in on the Takame.
So it'll be Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Sanchoku, Dora 2. No Ura, or I would have made it Baimon.
Very good for Pios. Also similar to the Yakumen in the last game. Very down on points and needs to make up as many as possible. Looks like it's going to be 7 Mondora this round as Christian takes his first dealership. For longtime viewers of the series, you will remember that last time Christian was busted in all last and came back to first. Although sitting here now in East 4 in first place, Pio's 7,000 points behind. So that's
PO has PO has all of the 8-pin. Let's see what he does with it. He does have a 7-pin, so I don't expect him to con. At least not right away. Unfortunately, the other shapes in the hand just are nothing. And that makes you want to call a con even less, of course.
Oh, good draw for Christian. That finishes that weird penchon shape in the Sozu. Meanwhile, Julian seems to be just fighting for any shapes that he could get at this point. Oh my god.
The one tile that will make you con, maybe, later.
Pio, please con. Let's see some content.
And Julian just has one block too many, chooses to get rid of the Souths.
That Christian could potentially move towards a Tanya shape, but the Sozu kind of make it a little bit awkward, and it wouldn't be Pinfu either.
Was that Ishantan?
I think so. That was another. He paired up the Forso, I believe.
It's just the 3 pairs Ishantan.
Another tile that Christian could potentially cut the 1-so for and go for
I
a
wonder why
Tanya.
he's hanging on to the 5-pin. It's not really doing anything.
And now he has this huge Sozu shape.
That's 10 pi, I think, on 1/4 pin.
I believe you're correct. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4,
3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. Yeah.
No, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. And he have 3 2s.
He does have 3 2s, yes.
So then it's not. I don't think. I don't know.
That is definitely one of the kinds of shapes that makes me think for a bit to figure out what my uke is.
No, it's not. It's Ishanten still. I needed to see it again. Okay. Did we con yet? No. Feels being very disciplined here.
I think at a certain point you just have to con and like get a
Or you
better
just throw away
die.
the extra 8.
No, you con because you wanted the extra draw.
Well, yes. I think Pio is waiting for one more good draw because he's not even Ishanten.
It's a good fill for Julian, who is now in perfect Ishanten. Come on, Pio, do it. You know you want to do it.
Actually, now it's even worse because it's like he's gonna do it
He
now.
does it. Let's go.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused to be honest, but we'll see what he gets.
Absolutely no Condora, but he picked up.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
And I hate overlapping
Okay,
Ryonmans, but it's better than the
this
Kanchan.
is why you con.
Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. He just draws a 3 and I'm like, this makes it worse. So he cons and it makes it better.
I think that con is definitely going to make people nervous. It's going to make everyone think that Pio's hand is better than it actually is right now. And Nancy Ricci's waiting on the 4-7 so. I believe that's
2
also
is
10-5 for
10-5.
Julian.
2-5, so.
Please open. Let's finally see an open tonight.
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like he's opening. That's just 2-5.
Christian is calling to break the Ipatsu.
Zero respect happening at this table right now. He has to cut the one Monso right now to have a Yaku if he wants to try and win.
I believe he also has a 2-5 mon 7. No, 2-5 so 7 mon and Totsu.
I'm gonna have to see his hand again in order to confirm that, but you might be right.
Yes. 2-5 so 7 mon. But Nancy just looks like she's resigning the way she's drawing these tiles.
And Pio is still trying to make this con something that might make it worth it reaching. I believe one Mon seems relatively safe. Nancy showing the camera there.
One mon. Nancy's the one with all the 3 mon, so I don't know how one mon looks abundantly safe, but he discarded the 4, and now it's Suji, so.
And Christian really needs a reason to cut the 8 so here if he wants to maintain
I
tempi.
see. He discarded the 4. I don't really. Oh, I see the 4 over in Nancy's discard. It's barely on screen right now. That's why Pio cut the 4.
Yeah, but still, that makes the 1 Mon terminal Suji, so he could have kept that 4 Mon for at least a little bit. Christian really thinking about this cut right now.
I don't think any of the Sozu look particularly safe. I'm not sure. I can't see Julian's pawn to know what was cut, but obviously we know that everything but the 3 is going to deal in.
Oh, he
just
was
jabs
thinking
the 8
about
back.
doing it. Oh, and he does it. That's going to be double or single drawn on Julian because he was also so.
Gets 2 Uradora. It's Ricci Pinfu Dora
Ora
3.
2.
It's a Mangan.
Mongon picks up the extra Ricci stick. Very nice for Julian. And yeah, looks like other than Nancy, this very only 1,100 margin between third and
We see Nancy about to like kind of sorting her hand, about to drop that tone, and it's Dora. So into the hand it goes. And who can blame her?
yeah, it does make it a little hard now that we've moved to the south round, but like you still cannot cut that Dora. Not when you're this behind.
You don't want to drop it turn 1 at the very least. Her blocks are pretty good, but she doesn't really have a 100% confirmed head. Just 1-1-2-3 mon. Creates a penchant. So it looks like Pio's got the best hand here.
Kind of a nice draw if you really need the head, but I think she really wants to pair up that tone and just Mongon her way back up to at least being in contention for first.
You got to cut a block here.
I think Penchon makes the most
Penchant, yeah. I like Penchant because then if you draw, that's more 6 block, but
That's a nice fill for Christian. Still has to deal with the 7-9 Kanchan.
the nice part being that he's got the that's Tenpai for Pio. It's 3-6 mon. I think it's Richi Tanyao Aka. He's the Oya. It's 8 pin is coming back to haunt him.
A nice pickup for Julian, but now with the Oyarichi on the table, I don't think he wants to cut this 2-pin, 1-pin into Oyarichi. There's no Pinzu cut at all for Pio.
He just tries the 9 mon. Doesn't really have a lot of safe tiles. Pio's got the showing the camera with the flourish down. Now that will deal in, but I don't think.
Yeah, but I
don't
mean,
know.
what else do you have?
I'm looking at Pio's Ricci and I see, well, not much that isn't just an outright fold. That's
All
the
right,
best
well,
push,
Nancy,
really.
yeah. And apparently the wall defends for Nancy. Julian's still in a pretty good folding position with that Haku cut. And Christian Right, that's Nakasuji for Nancy.
That's
And
Tenpai.
I
Richi
mean,
Aqua
yeah, it's
2 waiting on 3 pin. It's not great, but
this is definitely not Ricci that you could fight with.
you don't want to really fight dealer with this. He may choose to. I don't know. It depends on what his options are. I mean, obviously, the red 5 mon is Genbutsu.
Right, but I mean,
7, so is Genbutsu. There aren't a lot of ways to play a Genbutsu here that leads you to get back into Tenpai. He's going for it.
and he's just gonna go for it. Honestly, a little surprised there. His weight's very not good, but I mean, if he wants to maintain Tenpai, if he wants to actually win the hand, you're still at best 2 draws away from an upgrade to your weight.
Yeah, Panchon are very hard to upgrade, which is why if you have like Dora or something and you're the first person to reach, you go for it. You're not going to upgrade it very quickly. Somebody will catch up, but chasing, I don't know. It's very risky. That's not the right 3.
Nancy has a safe tile.
That's Tenpai, but it's just Nomi, and you have to cut the Dora.
Right, and you have to cut Dora, yeah. I think with this much heat on the table, you just kind of have to fold. But at the same time, Nancy can't really afford to fold. But she also can't afford to deal in either. Real predicament. And Christian draws another door.
Yeah, I mean,
Is probably going to stick in
Pio,
his hand.
Pio and Julian having very similar scores, meaning if one deals into the other, then we just end up with this situation. Well, there's a sumo, but where they're closer to Nancy and she can try to overtake someone. But we have Richitsumo, Tanyao, Dora. So that's going to be a Mangon.
Yep, looks like that was a
9 so
some,
was the
some
Ura.
honor.
No,
Or
9
9
so
so,
was
yeah,
the Ura.
9 so.
Good pickup for Pio.
Now it's Pio with the commanding lead. Next person below him is 18,000 points, so it's going to be really hard for someone to make up that many points, at least in one hand. Anything could still happen in 2. We've obviously seen Christian come back from worse odds.
Pio had some pretty good shapes to start with. Nancy's got a lot of Manzu in this hand to begin with. I think it's
Right.
quite enough to commit to any sort of flush, but a couple more draws and we could see it go that way.
Yeah, I think with a couple of draws, like even if you're not going to go flush, you still have some really good shapes that you could draw into. I think basically any Manzu helps her. Because you could also go for that Itsu. It's the shape is wide enough.
I think we see holding on to the 5 pin there because 6 pin is the Dora. So all Lux for 5 so.
That's a fill for Pio. Nancy not really getting any Manzu that she needs.
Pio's finally got 5 blocks. And there's a Manzu.
Not a bad one at that.
I'd have to look at it again. It went by a little bit too fast, but she might be Ishan 10 for Chitoy. Not that you just want Chitoy, but I don't know whether she had 5 pairs or 4.
Let's see. 1, 2,
That's
3,
Pio's
4. Yeah, she has 5 pairs. So she is
Yes.
Ishan 10 for Cheeto.
Yep.
But she could definitely also just expand that Manzu block.
Of course, yeah. This has gotten to a point now where she can almost call any Manzu she's able and still have a great shot at getting a Chinitsu. That's Ishan 10. It's like perfect. Not perfect.
And there's the
Nancy,
call
yeah,
from
Nancy wastes no
Nancy.
time.
Another door for Christian.
It's 10 pi. It's waiting 6-9 mon.
Right. I believe that's 2 and 3 in Nancy, 1 in was it Julian's hand?
Mm-hmm. Well, Christian has a 6. Nancy, I believe, is at a point where almost any Manzu, like except for the 1, maybe the 2, makes her 10 pi. That is not
There's the 2,
10
but
pi
you
because that is
still
no
have to
head.
cut the 8 so, which kind of looks bad, especially on that 7
Yeah.
so cut for PO.
Yeah, she's not in 10 pi yet, but it just makes her outs a little bit wider. It's got to be a little bit frightening for the other 2 players, for Julian and Christian, to see Nancy cut a live tile into PO's Dealer Ricci when she's definitely fronting a flush.
Oh, and
It's Chi.
that's cheese. She can cut. That's still not 10 pi, I believe.
If she cuts the, yeah, it is. She has a couple choices here. She can wait 4-7, 4-7 so by 4-7 mon by cutting the 2 mon, or wait 2 mon Tonki. She's taken the 4-7 mon. Is that 10 pi? No. No, it's not. It's already 10 pi, isn't it? Yeah. It's already 10 pi. It's waiting on 8 mon. 8 pin, excuse me. I didn't realize Christian was Dama. This isn't really a situation where you want to be reaching, but it's
Right.
does he have 2 Dora? He does.
And that's definitely not the draw that you want when you have Nancy fronting a flush.
And it doesn't look safe to PO either.
And another very live tile for Nancy that she's just gonna cut because she's got very easy Mongon.
That's terrifying, but I don't think you have any. I mean,
Yeah, at this point,
what else do you do?
you're committed to that Chinitsu. You've basically cut everything else. You've abandoned all safety, but
I see 3 of PO's weight in Christian's hand. Oh, as PO's holding 3 of Nancy's weight, and I think Nancy's holding 3 of her own weight. Yes.
and that's another pretty scary tile.
I think that was dropped by PO. Could be wrong. Or was dropped by Christian, but I don't know. In relation to the Ricci, I couldn't tell you. Ah, yes, 1 mon was dropped by PO immediately after his Ricci. You can see it right on screen.
Ah.
3 so is Suji, thanks to the 6 so earlier.
Yeah, at this point, it seems like it's going to be a roulette between Nancy and... Ooh, he could switch to the Shampoo. But that doesn't fix her problem that she's holding 3 of her own weight.
She can change to a 3/6 Mon too by cutting the 4. No, that's not right. Is that right? I'm tired of looking at this chitty too.
4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah. You're right. It's basically she has the symmetrical shape right now, so she can either stick with the 4/7 or switch to the 3/6.
Actually, that's a 5/8, not a 3/6. That's why I misread it. I knew it was still Tenpai. I just misread what it was. It's remarkably more live, actually.
Which also technically doesn't help her situation where she's waiting. She's carrying 3 of her own weight.
Yeah, it's the same.
But,
oh no!
And there's
oh my
the
god!
deal-in. The wall read by Nancy. That's going to be
just the right time. Change.
Huge win for Nancy. She really needs that to stay in this game.
Finger guns.
And Pio no longer in that commanding first that he really needs to stay in to get his team some points. And Nancy starts off with a pair of Haku. But that's kind of really all she's got. Julian, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs?
5 pairs. It was Ishan time. It was double Riichi chance. Chitoi double Riichi chance, but didn't get it. Pio's got 3 Dora in his high pie. No, he'd be Tenpai now and with the 9 Mon. He drew back-to-back 9 Mons.
Nancy gonna call that. Definitely wants to keep herself as a dealer and just rack up as many points as she can. And Nancy's gonna move her hand along as much as possible.
She's calling everything.
She's already Tenpai on 2 5-pin.
It's just Haku Nomi. She can't call the Hatsu because that's held by Julian, but now Julian's Senpai. She Shatanki or Akagreed. There's 2 choices here.
Still, when you're Oya, you want that speed, especially if you want to build up these Big Honba. Julian is now Tenpai on Sha. Riichi's for Chitoi Sha. Or Chitoi on Sha. And suddenly everyone's nervous.
Pio's just gonna Karagiri again.
Nancy 3 calls in. I think you just you gotta just push and hope for the best. You don't really have much that you could defend with, and even if you do, like, you lose so much if you give up this dealership. Pio drawing one of the Sha. Is he gonna cut it? Is he gonna deal in? He does. That's Riichi Chitoi for Julian.
And Ura would have been on the tile he cut, but 5 is so hard to win on.
And just like that, we are in a very, very tight game at South 3. Only 4,400 separates third and first, and even looking at fourth to first, that's a very narrow margin, all
Yeah,
things considered.
it's gotta sting a little bit for Nancy to lose her dealership like that, but she's definitely made up a lot of ground from earlier.
All right, one Dora for Julian, two Akka for Christian. Oh, two Dora for Pio.
Two Dora, 4 pairs for Pio. It's callable for Tanya as well, but I don't think any of the blocks were like on the outside leading to Otozuke or anything. 4 pairs. Everyone's got lots of pairs.
Nancy's shapes don't seem that awful, but it also doesn't have any value with all those Dora being held up in other people's hands.
She's just got Dora 1. I mean, she would make the margins razor thin if she were to get like Richitsumo Dora Ura from this current score line. It's Chito Aisha 10 or normal hand. It's like choose your own adventure. He's gonna go normal hand. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Nancy in a bit of her own predicament where she's got too many blocks with this 6 so draw. I think you just have to pick one of your pairs and just cut it.
I kind of like that too better than cutting either of the pairs as myself. So I agree with that. Because you can make Ryanmen out of everything that's left. Pio's probably mad about the 2 now because he loses the chance to get Ryan Peiko. Oh, instant backfire. It's so sad.
Oof. But I mean that's I mean if you're cutting one of your Kanchan, that's the better backfire because you want to keep that Dora.
Pio about to cut that 7, which would have been an efficiency loss because the 6 does get him 10 pi. Julian takes Oya Richi Nomi on 7 so Kenchan.
Christian immediately drawing it, but I don't think that's going to leave his hand.
Sad for Pio though, because he held on to that 7, which it is a DP. I mean, it is a sort of like an efficiency gain, but he's going to cut it if he does 1-4.
And Pio now in a bit of a predicament, he has one Gembutsu, but it's a huge hit if he cuts it. If he still wants to aim for win on this hand. So he's just gonna jam that Tumon. Nancy thinking about it, although if she calls it, she doesn't have a Yaku. And it's very far away from getting to Ryukyu and collecting.
I feel like you just got to take a draw here.
Yeah, I don't see what a call benefits you.
She's also probably seeing that the 9 mon is safe. So if she calls it and then is able to pawn, she can take Tenpai for Tanya.
I mean, that's true, but she also kind of needs value now that her last dealership has gone.
Well, she got Tenpai,
An
but
instant reward. But can she cut the 4-pin here?
she's
And
going for
yeah,
it.
she reaches. And she opens. Let's go! Finally, an open Ricci.
Stand clear of the
Waiting
open
on that
reach.
2-5 mod.
What did he steal in? She's free 10. She's free 10. I was so good. I was like, oh. I was like 2-5 on 2 just comes right out from Christian. Like, what? Excuse me, she's free 10. I about had a heart attack. I was like, what is going on?
I found out recently that apparently you are not allowed to intentionally not in. That is, it's not Yakuman. It's literally against the rules. It is Chumbo.
So is that how it is in the N League rules then? Is it's Chumbo if you deal into an
Chumbo
open
if
reach
you
mix?
intentionally deal into a Yakuman open Richi.
So it's just okay, gotcha. That makes sense after a way.
Yeah. Although that has not stopped Waben from arguing that it's like some sort of set play Sashikomi. I don't understand how dealing into a Yakuman is Sashikomi for standings, but there you have it. Waben is arguing.
You have to be that far ahead, I guess. I don't know. Obviously, Julian's the one who's in incredible trouble here because he can deal into it. Well, nobody can deal into it, I guess, but it's free 10. I just keep thinking like, oh, the Richi's in danger, but no.
Right. Twice cut.
Pio's got Dora too, all just nice in his hand and cannot get this hand to go forward.
Oh.
Where are all the 7s? We haven't really taken stock of that. Christian has 1. Pio has 1. 1 has been discarded. Yeah, I'm not good at commentating for this. Free 10 Ricci is just so beyond my sensibilities, especially open, that I'm like,
Yeah,
I keep
mean,
panicking
if
every time I
you're
see
taking
somebody
free
drop a
Tempo,
2.
you might as well open.
Oh, I get it. If you're gonna Ricci, you may as well open Ricci. Oh, is Pio saved from dealing the 7? That's the last one.
That is the last one indeed, and he's just gonna cut Dora.
Which is safe, yeah.
Nancy picking up the Forso, very nervous about it, as she should be, because it is the Suji that Julian's waiting on here.
Mm-hmm. And Pio started cutting the 2, so he's not going to stop cutting the 2. So
this just goes to Ryukoku unless Oh, and Nancy does not get her last tile.
I think I've never seen like a person draw and discard. Like, look at her hand looks so sad. Just picks it up and like gently
Yep,
puts it down.
still gonna collect that K10, extra 500 points, 2 reaches on the table. Julian maintains his dealership.
I mean, it does close the gap 3,000 points between Nancy and Pio and Nancy and Christian, and it doesn't advance the hand. So now we've got 3,500 points in the center. It's honestly not that bad for Nancy. Of course, you want to win that hand, but this is just set up for a possible bigger win.
Yep. We'll see when it gets around to her hand. She can definitely close that gap very easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even a Mongon would put her into first, now that I think about it.
See Christian with the pair of the double non pair and the West pair. Dora's two pinned again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 tiles to Kokshi for Nancy. And she might actually go for it. Christian with that double non now has that Kanchan in the Manzu for 6 Mon Kanchan. And Nancy now has to make a decision here of whether or not she wants to go for Kokshi. She will have to end up drawing that, crediting that Dora. And I think she's gonna go for it.
Oh, wow. This is looking like
Oh my god.
Potentially double non Chun Chanta Dora is at the maximum, if you call it.
Another orphan for Nancy. She's now at 10. Although with the tune being thrice held, once by Julian, twice by Christian, it is going to be very hard for her to collect.
No, it's gone. It's held completely.
Oh, it's held completely.
Pio cut one turn too.
Okay, hear me out. They all hold it forever. Meanwhile, Nancy collects all the other orphans, and then one of them deals in.
I mean, sure, why not?
All right.
Now, nope, that's it. Now Nancy already sees that Kokoshi is dead, so she at least has time to try something else. It's gonna be hard, but
yeah, unfortunately, she gave away a lot of that value, cutting that. And all of her shapes are kind of. Christian, meanwhile, knows exactly what he wants.
yeah, and kind of feeding. I mean, Nancy drops the tile and Julian cheese, and it's looking very much like a Tanyao. So if you're Nancy here, you have an option to like just. I wouldn't deal in, of course, but you can help one player along to get another hand if you need to. But Nancy's making some good draws, so there's some hope here yet.
I think Christian. No, Christian still wants to keep Dora, right?
Well, it's either double non or double non Chanta or Chanta Dora 1. So he's taking the slightly narrower weight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard for Nancy to play around this hand with the double non now in play. And the South does look very live at this point. Christian's, what, 2 calls in?
Mm-hmm.
And now she draws a door.
Well, the Dora was just cut. Dora was, I mean, that's sad, but Dora was just cut, so that's not really causing her. Well, that's a almost efficiency you don't want, right? Depends on how much you value the Aka. Since Julian's Oya and there's points in the middle, probably I don't value the Aka quite as much.
Oh, Nancy, you cannot con here. You cannot give anyone else that much potential value, not when the margins are close. You kind of just gotta cut it. Yep. It's very sad to see, but unfortunately no con here. And that is 2 of Christian Stakaman out. Question is, does Julian deal in? Eventually, at least.
Oh, that's would have been Sumo there for Chantadora. I don't know if I think the last one pin is still in the wall.
Nancy trying to decide which one of these Jonkan she wants to keep, and she goes for the more middle one. One, two, three.
We haven't talked about Pio's hand much. Pio has 5 pairs.
5 pairs. And he
Pio's
does
had
have
5
the
pairs for a
option
little bit of a while.
Jonkan. I thought.
Pio also didn't want to
Did we
try
find
for a
out
normal
Chief
hand because he cut
Boy-
the 6.
It's
Yeah,
Tanya
Pio.
Chipoy if he decides to accept it. I don't know about cutting the 5 mon there, because there's still the Aka chance.
Well,
And
that's
Julian draws.
the other deal
Julian
in
is now
time.
holding Christian's weight, and he deals in.
It's just going to be Chun Chanta, so
Chun Chanta 4, 8, 10.
it's going to be 240. So
20, yeah.
2600 becomes 4100.
That would be 27,600 for him. So just 300 points behind Pio if they can get this score calculation correct. But that still basically makes it anyone's game. Because if Nancy gets a Hanuman, not even Sumo Hanuman, but a Hanuman off of anyone, her in first. Christian's got some pretty good shapes here. Definitely rack up the points.
Are we split Uma on ties here?
We are split Uma, yes.
Okay, because if Nancy were to sumo a Mangan right now, she and Pio would tie.
Nancy does also have some pretty good shapes. Potential 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. And that would be Dora's Tumon. So she can actually sumo that Mangan.
I think it's like a matter of asking yourself, how do you pick up enough points? You need at least... You need even a Mangan Ron will get her out of 4th as well from anyone.
Right. So yeah, it would have to be Richi, Sanshoku, Dora.
She elected to cut the 1-3, so no Sanshoku here. I would have probably cut the 7-9 just for the potential. But the hand is mostly Pinzu, so I'm definitely eyeballing Chinitsu if I want a Mangan here. But you need to get a couple more draws. Pio is going. I didn't catch how many Dora Pio has, but Pio will win the game if he's got 1. Chundora is enough. Oh, he has 2. Okay. No, he has 1. I've got this bad habit of seeing the Dora on screen and then interpreting it like it's the Dora indicator.
Yeah, I do that too. I have to keep reminding myself that that's not how it is. I feel like, yeah, the Forso should be the obvious cut, the tile serving you the least. But also you don't really have that much not to take first at least.
And then this greedy step backward is 1-so. Leaving 2-3-4 Sanchoku room, Tanpin, other things. That's kind of the compromise, I guess.
Hmm.
I do like that Pio opened this hand, though, because it puts a lot of pressure on Christian, because that's where all the chi tiles are coming from.
Nancy's also not really advancing her hand all that. 5 pickup, not really gonna. Oh wait, she already abandoned Sanchoku. Never mind. So maybe she might hedge more towards Tanyao. But with that 5-so pickup, it also limits you.
And Pio's also made 2 calls, and his shapes are just terrible, but it's a weird situation where if he scares people off and Christian's not Tenpai, he can overtake that way as well. I don't foresee that occurring, but there's potential. Okay, Nancy is going for the flush.
Julian now has the opportunity to shift back to Tanyao. But it's not going to get him the Sanchoku that he needs to overtake first. Christian with a bit of an awkward draw here.
Well, that's another interesting thing is that if Julian were to Ricci as Tanyao and get Ricci Tsumo Tanyao, it would 1K, 2K, he actually ties Christian for first.
Oh my god.
So there are a lot of weird tie outs in this game.
I don't think we've seen a tie. Oh, and that's so good for Christian.
I think Pon 10 here is more valuable. Probably. Well, the 1 pin is once cut, so maybe not.
Christian or Julian trying not to deal the home of the south there to give anyone else an easy Yakai, ends up giving Christian another chi.
I wasn't able to see what Pio drew, so I don't know if he got Tenpai there or not. He did cut the 1 from in his hand, which leads me to believe he got Tenpai, because I don't know what would be an improvement. Yes, he has Tenpai and 2 pin.
Nancy now pairing up that non, which is going to be not too bad for her flush, but is also not going to be enough value.
2-mon, 5-mon Shabo for Tanyao for Christian. It's 2-mon Zadora. I think there's still 1 2-pin left in the wall. Julian has 1. Nancy has 2.
I do have a report for final scores at table 2. David took a first with 53,000 points, 70-point first. Claire in second place with 7 points. And then Vince taking a really bad third, minus 30. He's unfortunately fourth, not what his team needs.
Well, Pio
So
drew the 2, so now if he doesn't break Tenpai here, he's going to deal in, and it's going to be bad. Yeah, that's Mangan.
and that's Mangan for Christian, now solidifying his first place. Sorry, celebrating with our team a bit right now for our points going up. Anyway, Christian has good Monzu and good Sozu, and that's about it.
He has a Pinzu now too. Dora is Tuso, and it's already in a completed shape, which is
Yeah,
great.
but it's not good Pinzu.
Pio is wasting no time calling Pon on double non. He has an Aka. Gonna try to snipe. Actually, a Mangan, if he's able to get it, will snipe second back because he's 9,000 within the score to get it with the Honba.
Yep, and I think Julian will be happy to take a second here. So it's really a fight for Pio and Nancy to not be last, and possibly second. All right, Christian now pairing up Yakai, so he can now also just start running up the scores again. Not that he needs to anymore. I think he'll be perfectly satisfied letting someone else just confirm their second place.
He's got a big enough lead now that Julian would need to sumo a Haneman to overtake.
Another good draw for Christian. Although now he has to decide which block he wants to cut.
It's 6 blocks, so you can go headless here. You can cut the tunes, yeah. Pio is not yet Tenpai. Pio probably hoping he can just get a hold of another Dora of somehow get a Mangan here, because that actually does reclaim second place. Or maybe just not fourth is what he's aiming for. I'm not exactly sure. He does call Pon. He's going for the Honitsu. Okay, that's what.
I think you just got to throw that back. Eventually, you are going to have to decide between what door you want to cut to move forward, but another good draw for Julian.
Not Tenpai yet, but
oh, he's trying.
5-pin, 8-pin Kutsuki with some other calling options. That is Tenpai, and he does not need the Honitsu.
Dora, and yep, there it goes.
He's got double. So 6-9 pin for double non-Honitsu.
At this point, everyone has to know that he's Tenpai, and given that the Akko is the first Pinzu cut, I think people are going to start suspecting that it's the Pinzu Honitsu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, on 1-4-6-9 looked terrible with a late Akka.
And Julian is Tempai for the 1/4 mon. If he cuts this 7-so. But I think he might want more.
I think
might
he wants to not Ricci and then deal into PO and then get fourth. Because that's definitely the risk of going for that.
Right, but you could still at least Dama and then hope for Tsumo
Mhm.
before you start folding.
Yes. That was an option because the Sozu don't look particularly scary.
It was also safe to PO. Now that I'm looking at his pool.
Mm-hmm. Nope, Nancy's going to cut it, and that's going to be the Mangan Ron, double non Honitsu. 9,500, and that should get PO back into second, so that's a big...
Yep. So PO second, Triad takes first. Very unfortunate for the Doran Echoes who previously managed to get the margin between them and Triad so razor thin, but Christian's all last dealership is apparently.
Yeah, very fortunate for PO there. He went for the win in the previous game, took a big hit, and then went and managed to win it back.
Yeah. And it looks like that is going to wrap it up here for N League this week. I have been Michael. I've been joined by actual final boss of Mahjong, Steve.
Well, that's flattering. Thank you.
And
yeah, I feel like we saw some good games, and yeah, it was a pleasure to do commentary with you.
Yep. You could join us at the Discord on reachingnomi.com. Follow us on our social. They are. And we will see you next week. At least someone will see you next week.